So looking to the future, what kind of HR framework do we have to come up with during this time? I'm just going to look over this question again because it's not making sense to me suddenly. Basically, how do you prepare for people when things improve? Because you do have to set down some issues and aspects now of HR that will help in the future. Any ideas?
I think what we're all saying is we're not doing anything different now than we would have hopefully been doing 2 years ago, except paying more to recruiters.
Mm-hmm.
We give big bonuses to employees who refer new employees to us. Program's still there. We're not hiring as many new employees. So I don't, if anything, this has tested our resolve that having what we call people first, and Bayer and I got called different things, but it's tested our resolve that did we really mean it? So we did it in good times. Mm-hmm. Did we really mean it when times got tougher? And I think we all looked inward and said, yeah, we did. The days off are still there, the fitness benefit is still there, the training is still there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we're well positioned to go forward.
Yeah, and like I say, even in some areas we're increasing some of our spend a little bit, just based on the feedback though, not based on it's not based on the economy. And, for us, we don't do things to be a top employer. Ultimately, if we're recognized by externally or internally by our employees as that's great. We're doing things to have a successful business, to be a productive business, to grow our businesses. And, if through listening to employees, the things that we do, they see as a top employer, or externally is viewed as a top employer, then that's great. But it's not the ultimate goal. It's to have a successful business.
I'll sound like a broken record, but it's all about people, and find the right people, treat them right, do it better than you ever have in the past, and I think that's how you prepare for the future. The one opportunity that I see right now that we're taking advantage of, both in our franchise partners out in the field and in our employees, is finding better people. If we can top grade people, if we can find even better people than we have right now. So you'll get some people that aren't passionate about the business, who might have lost it, or it's just not the right fit, helping those people exit and help bring someone better in this time around, so that when the economy does correct and things improve, you're even stronger still.
Right. I would say we're also looking at, because the markets are changing, at least the markets that we operate in, we are looking at the businesses and how we can become more effective, whether it's with customers, et cetera, or different delivery mechanisms. And so we are looking at some areas of, where we can be more effective, as well as even efficiencies, during these times, on where we can be more, efficient. So, through the help of employees, we are looking at those things during this time, and really challenging ourselves how we can continue, to be out in front, change the business model, become more effective, become more efficient. Bayer globally, has been globalizing some of their processes to get some efficiencies. And so that's sort of a common trend that's going on now at the same time, too.
The other dimension that I would add is the whole diversity and inclusiveness piece as it layers over the economy and the culture. We all know that our workplaces are getting more and more diverse. And when we were just, desperate to recruit because we needed more and more people, we just assumed that, okay, so we'll hire a diverse workforce and that will just be fine. What we learned, and then we hit this recession at the same time, is diversity is not enough. You need a real inclusive culture where people feel like they belong at the organization, where you're actually listening to different points of view and actually getting the leverage out of the diversity that you have. And that can be really challenged in a tough economy when you're, being really rigorous about performance ratings and who you're going to promote and that kind of thing. It's very easy to revert back to, okay, the bias in my head is a leader looks like a white male, so this person looks a whole like a leader. They're less risky, give them the job. And so even more in this economy, it's something that you have to be very mindful of and make sure that your processes are still working properly. And that, too, is going to be a big investment in when we get out of this recession.
We talked a little bit about employees in the past, in the last little while, and we've been talking a lot about employers and what we're supposed to be doing for our employees, whether or not we're in booming times or in bust times. But of course, that whole relationship is a two-way street. So in your opinion, what makes a perfect employee right now, and has it changed at all since, let's say a year ago, 2 years ago?
For me, at 1-800-GOT-JUNKED, we have a painted picture, so a vision of what the future looks like, what we're trying to build out 5 years in advance. And the story I like to tell is Steve Jobs, founder of Apple, when he was recruiting employees, his tool to find the right people was, as he was creating the Mac, the prototype of the Mac sat on his desk. He'd bring people in, they'd fire away at the keyboard, and if their eyes lit up and sparkled, if they got excited, he's like, wow, okay, that's someone that I want to take to a first interview to see if there's a good fit. So our tool is the painted picture to people's, not that their eyes are going to light up and sparkle about junk, but about the growth of the business. Do they get excited? Do they want to be a part of the game we're playing, the business we're building? And that's one of our tools. They've got to, again, back to culture, they've got to fit. Do you want to spend time with those people? Do you want to connect and engage and help each other grow? So that's a big tool for us.
Any attributes that an employee needs to have now as opposed to a year ago, or has that changed?
Well, I'd say it's the same one that we try to say we have as an employer, which is flexibility. Okay. So we try to say that we're a very flexible employer. We will, work hours, career arrangements, all that. We'll try to make it fit your personal goals. But we need the same thing from our employees. So life is changing around us. The economy changes. What's most important to the business in terms of a particular skill at any point changes. So an employee who's flexible and says, look, I'm smart, I'm eager, I like this stuff, but if I need to learn something new or focus on something different next week from what I did last week, I'm game. That's our ideal employee.
Yeah. I would say ours is the same. We've gone through different business changes. As recently as a year ago, we asked about 50 different employees to take different roles. And it was more a jungle gym approach. Not all those roles were up. Some of them roles were sideways. Some of them were to things that they never even dreamed that we would be asking them, to do. And we said, we really need you, with your skill set, your background, to, take on this responsibility. Some initially resisted because I think it's just natural. But the feedback that we got, months after some of these people went in there, was so happy that they had that opportunity. And so, we really try to promote a flexible, resilient, culture, and more like a jungle gym approach where, it doesn't, you can't just always go up. You can go sideways. You can become more valuable as an employee, more valuable to the organization, more valuable as an asset if you decide at one point you want to leave the organization even, So we try to promote that's the, type of thinking that we want, with our employees, to be flexible, resilient, and to accept that change, ultimately.
Yeah.
The only thing I would look for now more than ever is a level of optimism. Mm-hmm. So I want people that are optimistic about the future, not people that are coming in going, man, it's bad. And yeah, it is bad, but what are we going to do about it? It's all that attitude. People that are going to wake up with a smile on their face going, yeah, I'm here to fight, here to make it through, and that kind of can-do, will make it happen attitude.
So the hiring process hasn't changed. I know that Bayer has a fantastic program where when people are entering your business, it's incredible what you do in order to get them ready for it. Is that changing at all?
That hasn't changed. We start onboarding people before they even start working with us. So as soon as they accept the offer, the onboarding process starts. And so that's continued. And that was just based on employee feedback that people felt overwhelmed on day one when they come to an organization. So we said, why don't we start the process as soon as they accept that offer, get them orientated into the company, into the culture. We've got a website that they can go to. They can see videos of our head office. They can hear our president talk. They can get some really high level, good information about the company, including acronyms. We have lots of acronyms. We're a science-based company, so they love acronyms. So just so that they get a better feel of some of these things, and like benefits and stuff, which I think when people come, they're overwhelmed. They don't. We offer a 75% match on our savings plan. It's almost a no-brainer that you should just take that and just, even if you invested in the money market, you're making 75%, right? But a lot of people don't because they're overwhelmed. It gets lost, in terms of all the other priorities of trying to get up to speed. So, we offered a program to try to get people, be able to look at this, because normally they have a couple of weeks off. They've maybe left another employer and they've got a little downtime, and so And we've gotten great feedback that people said it really, they feel welcome just from day one. And, and the website's called Hello Bear, and we brand all this stuff. There's people waving at you, and you feel pretty welcome, saying, I think I made the right choice,